4, 3.
I'm Paul Nixon.
And I'm Christy Latona.
And we're talking about cultural openness in the church.
Oh,
of all
please.
places.
Let's make that happen.
What is cultural openness? Cultural openness is the ability to be able to play with the kids that you were told by your mom you weren't supposed to hang with. And that should happen at church.
That should happen at church. Because we know that Jesus played with a lot of people that were outside of his normative cultural circle.
Yes.
That's actually where I feel like he probably got most of his joy, was out amongst the people that most of his rabbis would say, please don't ever touch those people.
He got a lot of joy and a lot of flack for that.
Yes, both of those things. So it really is this idea of openness beyond tolerance, because lots of times if a person tolerates somebody, it means they'll put up with them.
Yes.
Cultural openness really is about this willingness to share life, to share power with new people, younger people, people who your parents did not want you to play with, people who do not look anything like you.
I'm always surprised where I find it. You think the most conservative sort of buttoned-down place would be the place where only a certain kind of folk would be there, but if there's spiritual intensity in that place, often they're the place that loves all kind of people and is willing to share life with all kind of people, and often is aware that that we all need so much grace. Why waste time focusing on somebody else? Let's just all be here together and enjoy the fact that God has something special to share with all of us.
Absolutely.
There was a church in a very, very rural part of Central Virginia that decided to open a thrift store. And opening this thrift store, they began to deal with the public. And in dealing with the public, they realized, all these friends we're making at the thrift store, none of us belong to churches where they would be comfortable. So they started a church in the back of the thrift store. It's a very conservative community, but because they began to build community with all of the different kind of characters that ran around that county, they created a church that's inclusive for all those different kind of people. But they did not have the relational skills before the thrift store to pull that off.
Well, and sometimes you do need to just be in relationship with someone without the trappings of what your normal church routine is, because I think that can make people very uncomfortable. So it is exciting when people will venture out of the church walls to start building relationships across aisles, across railroad tracks, and experience just what it means to be together as people. Because I think that's the starting point for places that haven't yet experienced cultural openness. Really is that being willing to be in relationship in non-threatening ways for both parties.
And the most exciting thing for me is that when I see a church that has high spiritual intensity and high cultural openness, almost invariably, there is a church that has a very wide door of a lot of people coming into that place, experiencing grace and receiving Christ.
And it really becomes the picture of the kingdom of God.
Indeed.
Cultural openness.